Hey everybody! So in this video we are going to be talking about one of my personal pet peeves when it comes to talking about DID online. And that is how many people I see saying, oh, I sure wish I had DID. It sure would be nice to have, all these other people that I'd never be alone and they could just do stuff for me when I didn't feel like it. But that's not how it works. It's not like you just have this, you know, group of people in your head that'll just do everything you don't want to do. That's not how DID functions in the slightest. It's that when something is triggering, somebody else will show up, or if they just decide they want to, somebody else will show up and do what they want to do, or whatever it is that their job is, not necessarily what it is that you wanted them to be doing. And for me, the hardest part of living with DID is not the switching. A lot of people, they always want to focus on the different system members, and the reality for me is that that's not the hardest part. The hardest part is the lack of memory. The fact that none of us share a complete history of our life. That there's things that some of us just don't know. And it's really, really frustrating that there are huge chunks of our life that I have no memory of, no knowledge of, and that none of us really have any access to outside of the few individuals who keep that. And that's why a big part of our goal for healing is that we will eventually be fully cooperative and be able to share consciousness and have the same bank of memory. We won't all be one person because, quite frankly, I just don't think that's possible for us, but we will have one solid life history. And I think that that would be really good for all of us to be able to just have access to that same information, to have processed the trauma, to have moved forward from it as much as we possibly can, instead of having people carrying it around forever. So when I see people say, oh, I wish I had DID, I get really frustrated. Because whether it's DID or OSDD or any other dissociative disorder, you don't want it. It makes your life really hard, especially when you're talking OSDD or DID, where you have complete lack of memory at times, or you have a whole bunch of completely different individuals that you have to try to coordinate with to try to make sure that everybody's some semblance of happy. And that's really hard to do. I am telling you right now that even if you only have a system of 2 for your DID or OSDD system, the likelihood is not everybody's going to be happy at the same time. And that's the hardest thing about seeing people say how much they wish they had it, because they wouldn't say that if they did have it. They wouldn't be saying how great it is to have a system when, yeah, it can have its upsides, but it also means that not everybody can ever really be who they want to be. We are stuck with the option to have one life, even though we have so many different people who have different dreams and different wants. There's only so much we can do to accommodate all of that. And we try. We do try. but we can't have, 1,000 different careers, or an infinite number of days to go do things. It's just not possible. We have time constraints. We have physical limitations to what we can and can't accomplish. So what I'm trying to say here is that, yes, having DID helped us survive. And for people with OSDD, it helped them survive. For people with any sort of dissociative disorder, it helped them survive. But there's a huge difference between surviving and thriving. And getting to a place where you're thriving, that takes work. More work than your average person will ever have to put in to reach some sort of semblance of stability and happiness. You're talking, for most systems, years or decades of therapy to try to undo the damage that was done from the trauma. And the thing is that it's never really going to be completely gone. There's always going to be ways in which that trauma changed you forever. So, as much as I try to focus on the positives and give you a look at, the ways that it shapes our experience having DID, I need everyone out there to understand that this is not a fun thing to live with. That dissociative disorders are not fun. It's not a game. It's not a good thing to want. It's not glamorous. It's hard. And it's so much harder than living a life as a single person, because even if you're a single person and you've dealt with trauma and you've lived through that, you don't have to try to accommodate the needs and feelings and wants of several very different people. So it's not like you can just snap your fingers and say, oh, I don't want to do this today, and somebody else will come do it. For most systems, ours included, you can't just switch on command. You can ask someone, hey, would you mind coming out here? I'm having some, trouble doing this and I need help, and they can do that if they want to, but you can't make them. So, yeah, that is my big pet peeve, is seeing people talk about how it must be so great to have DID, when the reality is that it's not great to have any sort of dissociative disorder. It's called a disorder for a reason, because it impacts your ability to function. It makes your life harder. So, I hope all of you out there understand that having DID is not something to wish for. Having OSDD is not something to wish for. It's something that you make the best of because it's what you have. It's not something that you want. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Have a good day, everybody.